Welcome and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I would like to call the Monday, February 24th, 2025 school board meeting to order. And I'd like to thank Danette Childs for filling in this evening for Lisa Brandecker. Danette, will you please call the roll?
Yep. Director W. Felton.
Here.
Claflin.
Here.
Cummings.
Here.
T. Felton.
Here.
Duffy.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Chair Human.
Here.
That's 7 present at 6:01 p.m.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask all who are able to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's a tricky corner. It is a tricky corner. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, welcome to all of our guests this evening. I'm so excited when we get to hear from our students, especially athletics and activities happenings. There's so much success and celebration. But first, the boring stuff. We are needing to approve our meeting agenda and the minutes from January 27th, a work session and regular meeting, the February 3rd special work session meeting, and the February 10th work session minutes. So I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion regarding the agenda and the minutes? I just wanted to mention we have so many of them because we had a special board retreat that was on February 3rd, and a board retreat sounds like something that should have tropical drinks and warm weather. It's not. It was an opportunity for us as a board to really dig in with Ray Queener from TeamWorks about how our role as governance in our school district works and how we can increase our ability to do good things for our community and for our schools by making sure that we really understand the work that we're doing and not getting kind of too far into the world of what the teachers, what the district employees do, what all of our caretakers and staff in our district do. Like, we were making sure that we're doing what we can to make sure that everyone else can do what they do. So I just think that it's really important. I'd like to point out that we are trying to grow our knowledge to do the best that we can. Right. I am asking.
All those in favor?
Yes. All those in favor of approving our agenda and minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Carries 7. No. All right. Now we can move on to the exciting quality in action. I'd like to invite Brady Kruger up to help introduce our winter season things.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting us back to share updates on our winter activity season. Before we begin, I'd like to thank again Dr. Zambrino, the school board, building administrators, Mr. Ochaki and Ms. Borg for their ongoing support of Packer athletics and activities. I truly appreciate the opportunity to come before you to speak with you and highlight the incredible work of our coaches, advisors, and students and programs that sit behind me right now. Before we get too far into this, I also want to take a moment and recognize the dedication of our coaches and advisors who, again, work tirelessly with our students every day to ensure that they have positive experiences and develop into responsible citizens, which is ultimately the point of why we have athletics and activities at the high school level. Without further delay, though, I'm going to call up Mr. Holson with our theater program to highlight some of the ongoings in our theater department.
Well, hi, thank you, everybody. Really happy to be here to talk about our winter theater season, which is our Winter One Act Play Festival. In South St. Paul, we've been doing this for a number of years now. We do something a little different than our schools. We don't just do one competition, one act. We do a whole bunch. We do 6 plays, actually, which gets a whole lot more involvement than just doing one competition play would do, and gives students a lot of opportunities to experience a lot of different roles in theater that they wouldn't normally get to otherwise. Just in terms of some numbers from our Winter One Acts, we did 6 short plays, 1 competition, 1 act, a middle school 1 act, and then 4 student-written and student-directed skits. We had 10 student directors involved, 11 students who entered our playwriting contest. 4 of those plays were chosen to be performed. And those students also got paid $50 from the Deb Clark Memorial Theater Fund as their royalty for and the award for winning the playwriting contest. That contest was judged not by me, but we have 3 South St. Paul Theater alum who are adjudicators for the playwriting contest. We had 49 student actors involved in the production, 15 student technicians on the running crew, and a total of 73 students involved in the production in one way or another. Also very pleased to announce this was the 2nd year in a row that we went to section finals, and that's in probably what I would describe as the toughest 1X section in the state. And so we're very pleased to have had the chance to do that. I'm actually going to invite each of these students to come up, and they didn't know I was going to do this. Yeah, you saw Bella just kind of sat up there like, what, Holson? But I'd like them to just kind of introduce themselves and tell you what role or roles they had in the 1X. And then if they want to say something else, they can too. So, here we go.
Harrison Shilley. In the 1 act, I was the lake, which sounds stupid, I know, but it was cool, I promise. And I think that theater's like my favorite thing that I've ever done at school, and I feel really at home there, and it's really fun, and everyone should do it at some point in their lives. Thank you.
Harrison also wrote one of the plays that we performed.
Oh,
so
yeah, right. I also wrote one of the plays that they performed.
Way to take a cue. I'm Troy Allen. For this year, I wrote a play, I directed a play, I directed his play.
It's true. You did a good job.
Thank you. And I was in the competition 1 act as a knight, and yeah, I really love the 1 acts because I've written and directed and acted like throughout all of high school, and it's a really great opportunity, really fun, and it allows people to learn a lot of new skills and just, be creative. It's really fun.
My name is Bella. I was the props master, and I did lighting design, and I ran the light board. And I really love theater because it allows me to try out all sorts of new creative ways to solve problems.
All right. We obviously have a lot more people involved in this, but a lot of them, frankly, right now are at show choir rehearsal because show choir has their last performance of the season coming up this weekend. So that's where they are. But I promised all the kids I would speak well of them, which is honestly quite easy to do with this group of kids. I bet you're wondering what's coming up.
Yes,
Right?
what's coming
Please.
So right now, we just actually, the 3 of us, and Bella was there for a little bit too, just came over here from a rehearsal for All Quiet on the Western Front, which is our high school play, which performs on March 14th, 15th, and 16th. So just about a little less than 3 weeks from now, that play opens. And then we also will have a middle school spring play, which will be Ramona Quimby, based on a beloved children's book. And that will perform May 16th, 17th, and 18th. So hope to see everybody there. And again, thank you for giving us the chance to talk about our program.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Eric. Eric does an absolutely phenomenal job with our theater program and making sure that all of our kids have a space on our campus. Next up, I'm going to bring up Isaac Douglas with our girls basketball program. They are in the middle of section play right now. They actually will open up section quarterfinal game Wednesday at South St. Paul. So if you are looking for something to do, swing on by the comp gym. Took your line?
You took what I was going to say. Hi. Thanks for having us here. It's been another really good year for us and the girls basketball team. With me, I have our senior captains, Kate Ebert and Scarlett Johansson. It's been another really good year. It's our 3rd straight year in double-digit wins, and these 2 have led us to a 4 seed again in the section playoffs. So hosting a game on Wednesday. We got Minneapolis South, who we played game 1 of the season, lost to them, but hoping that we can come out and play a little bit better. and have a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm not really sure about postseason accolades yet at this point since we have our conference meeting tomorrow night. So keep your eyes out for those and look out because I'm sure both these two names will be mentioned in them. But, yeah, so please come out, support us on Wednesday, and should be a lot of fun.
We do have one accolade, don't we?
Oh, we do. Yeah, Scarlett was the Athena winner. When was that announced? 2 weeks? Last week? Yeah. Yeah, but Scarlett was the Athena winner. Thank you.
It's exciting,
Thank you for bringing
right?
that up to me. We do have an accolade
standing
that we
there,
can
so
honor.
it's- yeah.
But yeah,
Thank you.
and that's all for me. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, next up, I'm going to bring up Roz Wilson to talk about our dance program that had another very successful year, and I'll have her share some of the highlights. Roz was also a Section Coach of the Year, by the way, recognized Section 1 Coach of the Year. So congratulations, Roz.
Wow. Great.
Good evening. I'm Roz Wilson. I'm the head coach for the South St. Paul dance team. Joining me today are two of the seniors, Morgan Carter and Haley Carlson. This past season, we had about 31 dancers. So we had a B squad, a varsity, and a junior varsity. We've been working really hard for the past 17 weeks. This year we have 3 all-state dancers, Haley Carlson, Asher Lindemood, and Isabella Ulrich. At sections this year, our varsity kick team took second, and our varsity jazz team took first. So that punched 2 tickets to state, where we placed 8th in jazz and 9th at kick. So we had a really successful season. We also made the MADT All-State Academic Team with an average GPA of 3.5. And Haley Carlson here got a All-State Academic Senior Award for having a GPA above 3.85. So really successful season. On behalf of the coaching staff and the team, thanks for having us here tonight to recognize. And yeah, thank you.
All right, next up, I'm going to bring up our gymnastics coach, Kaya Tajas, to talk about our gymnastics program.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you so much for inviting us here today. I'm Kaya. I'm the girls gymnastics coach. I'll start with saying we didn't have many wins this year, but that did not define us. This year has been great for a lot of other reasons. Throughout the season, everybody kept getting better. We saw small personal improvements and growth from every individual on the team over the course of the season. We scored a high of 121.95, which is the highest score that I've seen since I started coaching them 3 years ago. Not only did we improve at our routines, this year our sense of community grew. We became closer with the teams in our conference. I loved seeing the connection that our kids made with the other teams. I recall trying to peel Maggie away from her best friend at our last meet while we were trying to get on the bus. They really were looking out for each other, sharing hairspray, chalk, tape, laughter. The incredible sense of support everyone offered each other created a really positive environment this year. Meets were super loud as we were cheering for our opponents and they were cheering for us. Tonight I'm here with 2 seniors, Maggie and Scarlett. I'll share a little bit about each of them and then I'll let them talk about their experience. Scarlett has been with the team for 1 year, her senior year. It's so special that she decided to share with us her senior gymnastics season. In the short time I've gotten to know her, she's shown me how kind and caring she is for her teammates, her fierce love for the sport. She also often states, I'd go crazy without gymnastics. In 1 year with the team, she collected many accolades, which she hasn't really received yet because our banquet is 2 weeks from now. The first of which is she's all conference for all around, so that's all 4 events. All state honorable mention for all around and all 4 events. At sections, she qualified for the state tournament, and she competed this weekend along with many other friends from our conference. So I'll let her talk for a second.
My first year on the gymnastics team was really fun, and it was a really fun community to be with. And I really enjoyed just being part of a team and seeing how we grew throughout the season.
Next, I'll tell you about Maggie. I started coaching the team in the 2022-23 school year. This is my 3rd season. Maggie's a vet. She's been with this team twice as long as I have. This is her 6th year, starting in 8th grade all the way through her senior year. She is a 5-time varsity letterer. She has always been hardworking and persistent, showing up for her team when they need it the most. She's a great senior leader and team captain, and she has contributed enormously to the culture of good sportsmanship on our team. I'm not sure what we're going to do with her without her next year.
Yeah, this year was definitely most of the most fun years that I've had for all the seasons, because I'm very glad that Scarlett joined this year. She definitely helped contribute to the team. And then I'm really glad that we were all on the team this year, everyone we had, because we all got super close this year out of all of the years that I've been on the team.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right, next I'm going to bring up Ms. Chris Weinfertner. She has been leading one of our new programs here. It's our cheer team. And if you haven't been able to see our cheer team in action, they have completely changed kind of the environment that we have at our basketball games, our football games. They've even cheered at volleyball games and so on. It's just a really exciting thing for them to have them at our game. So I'll bring up Chris Weinfertner to talk about our cheer program.
Hi, Chris Weinfertner. I was approached by 2 girls who said, can we start cheer? And this is the 3rd year we've had kids ask me. 2 years ago, we started with like 12 and it diminished, so it didn't happen. Last year, we had a group of maybe 6 or 8, and then it didn't happen. So this year, we had a meeting. 50 girls showed up. 25 tried out, and I still am 12 cheerleaders strong and 3 managers. They've been cheering at the games. They raised enough money to buy their own pom-poms, and then I just, went to my brother who's on the Croatian Hall board and said, we need uniforms. And so we got uniforms for the girls. It's been really fun. They're strong leaders. They're great students. It adds a whole new environment. The girls' basketball, they already left, but at their senior night, it was just a super fun environment. It's fun to see the girls grow and be such great leaders in the building.
Thank you.
The cheer program has absolutely been awesome. Next, I'm going to bring up Amber Gay with a BPO group.
Hey, can I pause for a second?
Yeah, you can pause.
Director Cummings?
I just wanted to say, and I know that they've left, but I went to one of the girls' basketball games and was absolutely overwhelmed with the cheer program. It transformed the whole environment. It was a wonderful place to be. And as people talk about, like, what do we need to do in order to think about reinstilling Packer pride or bringing that back, it's like take the lead of these cheerleaders, because they were phenomenal. So.
Yeah, they absolutely. It's been a blast watching them grow and that program grow. All right.
Oh, it says staff 1 right on here, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried a bunch of times before the meeting started.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amber Gay. I'm the advisor for the Black Pride organization. I have a few of our students with me. I'm glad that we get to go after Chris, because we have a lot of BPO students who also cheer. So it's been nice to see the overlap between our organizations, right? As they grow theirs, they grow ours. I have a list of some of our past events that we did this year and then the end of last year after our last Quality in Action. Do you guys want to help read some of them? Okay, you guys can just pass it. And I'll step back so you can talk into the microphone.
Well, explain a little bit? All right.
Oh, and say who you are, too.
No, yeah. I mean, my name is Amal. You guys know me. So I'm the president of BPO, Defina.
And I'm the vice president of BPO.
That's Defina, and then that's my brother Abel, and then King. And so we had a lot of past events. So we went to HBCU College Fair that was earlier this year, and we learned about, if you know what HBCU is, it's a historically black college or university. So a lot of our seniors, we went and we got to learn more about HBCUs since there are not many near here in South St. Paul. So we got to learn about that. We had a kindness retreat, and that was with Mr. Krieger, and we helped younger children with leadership and being kind to one another. We also did Dodge Nature Center partnerships. So we went to Dodge Nature Center and we learned about animals. And again, this is an ongoing partnership. So we have 2 more field trips down the line, and I'll be sure to share pictures. Upcoming, so it's Black History Month, so we have a lot of events. So we have Multicultural Day with CDOU, and that will be March 13th. I'm going to bug you all to come because it's super fun. And we're going to be reading to elementary school students this week at Kaposia and Lincoln. And we also had our MLK Day celebration that was, I believe, that was President's Day, and I saw some of you there. It was very fun. We got to learn more about MLK, and we had a keynote speaker that said some very profound things that all of us need to learn about. And I'll let other people speak.
Something else we have upcoming is our food drive we're having with Neighbors Inc. We are collaborating with the IB, Diploma Kids for their little past project that they have going on. That's going to be super exciting. I believe that's Tuesday this week.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Fair for All.
Oh, tomorrow for Fair for All. And we also have Feed My Starving Children coming up and a movie night with Women's Society.
You guys should share your experiences
Good.
Hi, my name's Abel Fitcack. I'm a mall sister. I've been with BPO for like, I've been with BPO for like 4 or 5 years now. All the years I've been in it, it's super fun. We've had like a influx in like people joining. I'd say like maybe last year we'd have maybe like 15 people come, and I'd say like a meeting like 2 weeks ago we had like 30 people. So really influx in participation, so we're hoping to grow that.
Hi, I'm King. I've been a part of BPO since freshman year. BPO's like calmed me down, taught me a lot of stuff about Black history, and doing a whole lot of stuff for our community, and going out of our way to learn about our Black history has really changed how I see myself and everyone else in the Black community.
Yep. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
All right. Thank you, Amber. Amber does a phenomenal job leading our BPO group. Next up, I'm going to bring up Emily Frumstead with Women's Society to share some of their highlights.
Hi, thank you for having us. My name's Emily Frumstead. I'm our advisor for Women's Society. How I got involved with this was I had Dafina come up to me my second day transitioning from the middle school to the high school, asking me to lead a group, knowing I had a background of working with web in our district. And she told me that we were here for women's rights, and she has taught me so much, and these students have taught me so much. A few of our activities we have done so far this year are the kindness retreat, planning a movie night, learning about fundraisers, how to plan them, how to schedule them, who needs to be involved, what members of the community can we invite. So one of the pieces that we are doing is we will be having an upcoming movie night where we are raising awareness for women's menstrual products, specifically in women's shelters in our area. It's something that a lot of our girls have spent a lot of hours and time researching and making sure that they are well prepared to take it on themselves. So a lot of what our group is forming the skills needed in order to plan and be successful, especially when they leave our buildings, and make sure they're ready for all of their future endeavors. Part of that is having these girls get the opportunity to be able to speak in front of you guys and practice those public speaking skills. So I am going to invite each of them to introduce themselves and share a little bit about what Women's Society is to them.
Hi guys, my name is Sofia Riviaga. I'm in 10th grade, and one thing I'd have to say that I learned in Women's Society is how to promote feminism in our community by, like, our group will have dress drives to provide just in case someone is missing or without something. So we'll be there to help them with anything they need.
Good evening. I'm Luna McCurth, and I'm a sophomore representing Women's Society. And one thing I really enjoy about Women's Society is that I really love assisting and helping planning big events such as movie nights and dress drives. And I really love fundraisers that helps women. And yeah.
And I'm Defina Naikilga, and I'm a leader of Women's Society. And one of the things I really feel like I enjoyed my time being in Women's Society is the fight we had to have menstrual products in the bathrooms at our school. And I believe it was last year or 2 years ago is when we actually have that go through. And yeah, that was probably one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have a lot more students than what we have with us today. Last year, our group started off with about 8 girls, and this year we have about 26, both males and females involved. And it's just a continuing, growing program, and we thank you for your support.
I have to ask, it's been mentioned so many times, what movie is playing at movie night?
The Barbie movie.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we are having one Thursday with BPO as well.
Yes. 688.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next I'm going to bring up Mr. Dave Palmquist to talk about our girls hockey program.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm glad I didn't have to follow my son Zach. He would have embarrassed me. But I was telling Bailey I've done this for a long time, and I still get nervous coming in front of you. But Dr. Zambrino and the school board, thank you so much for having us. I'd like to invite my guest to introduce herself real quickly before I get started.
My name is Bailey Vesper.
There's one in front of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. Bailey Vesper. I've been a part of the varsity team for 6 years now. 2-year captain, and plans on playing college hockey next year.
So our hockey season, again, was wonderful. Very blessed and really humbled to be able to coach young ladies like Bailey. My other 2 captains, Alita Ahern and Lily Pockle, weren't able to be here tonight, but had a lot of texts after the last game this year. We finished 19-8, again, for the 8th straight year, played in the section finals to go to the state hockey tournament. 3-5 in those games. Heartbreaking is what I said a lot of times over my text to a lot of friends. Double overtime loss to Holy Angels, who was an outstanding team. But what was most proud for me is I just feel so honored and blessed when I tell these girls every time we play to see them standing on that goal line with that Packer logo on their crest. I just know what that means to so many people in our community and what it means to, I'm so blessed to be able to coach this group and just brings so much pride because I know that our girls are going to play so hard and play in a special way each and every time they get on that ice. And Bailey was one of those special players. Bailey played for 6 years. Really was a cornerstone of our program throughout those years, playing in 3 state tournaments, a 2-time captain. Her, along with Alita Ahern and Lily Pockle, were 3 of the really mainstays in Class A hockey, 3 of the best hockey players that we've had in a long time that contributed to our program. The Heisman Trophy in football is something that you're all kind of familiar with. We had a young lady, Lily Pockle, was a finalist for the Miss Hockey Award this year, Final 10 in the state of Minnesota for the best hockey player in the state. That was our first Miss Hockey player since 2012 when Sam Lasham made that team. So we were very proud of her and quite an honor for our little old South St. Paul. And I think what it stands for and really it means is that we're a proud tradition and people know about South St. Paul hockey and the fact that they'll, even little old class South St. Paul still is recognized as one of the premier programs in the state of Minnesota. And we continue and we will continue to thrive to be that. And I know that Bailey and Alita and Lily really left their mark for our program and are going to carry us into the future in wins. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Palmquist, I was so excited because I've always been a real major girls hockey team fan. And I brought this to share with everyone. as you just mentioned, Alita Ahern and Lily Pockel, both their pictures were both in the newspaper, the Pioneer Press. As Alita Ahern, South St. Paul senior forward, scored 29 goals to power the Packers' offense this season. And then Lily Pockel, South St. Paul senior defendant and Harvard commit, had 19 assists and 21 goals patrolling Packers' blue line, because they were in the paper as finalists.
Very proud of that.
Which is so wonderful. For as the Metro Girls Hockey Players of the Year, they were finalists. So that is so wonderful. We congratulate them very
I
much.
appreciate that. And what's really cool is I in my first year, 1994-95, I had a young lady, Bob Milbert, who's from South St. Paul, the Milbert family, well known here. Melissa Milbert came up to me on the second floor of the high school, and her letter from Harvard. She went to Harvard that 94-95 season, and then to have another one 31 years later go to Harvard, it's pretty cool, pretty special. And to see little old South St. Paul have two players mentioned as some of the top players in the metro area, when you're mentioning the lives of Maple Grove, Andover, Edina, I couldn't be more proud. And I just love these girls, and I love what Bailey and all these girls have done for us over the years, and really appreciate all of your support. I know it brings a lot of sense of pride to South St. Paul, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it. So thank you for having us here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll stick with the theme. We're going to bring up Mr. Zach Palmquist in our boys hockey program.
Thank you for having us. If Dave was nervous, I'm double nervous. So it's hard to come up here and follow a guy that's won 4 state championships, is in the section final every single year, but I'm destined to break those records on the boys side of things. So another successful year in the boys program. Unfortunately, we finished our season last Thursday, losing to Matamidi in the section quarterfinals. You can define success in a lot of different ways, and I don't see it as wins and losses. But it's kids like Jackson Schultz, who's one of our captains this year. Our captain, Roddick Simons, he, along with Cole Stever and Braden Willette, our other captains, they couldn't be here. But before I keep going, I'm going to have Jackson introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jackson. This year, the record didn't show that we had a great year, but I would say that we got better. A lot of our younger players got experience, and that'll just only help us further in the future. And I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, well said, Jackson. Like Jackson said, we were a young team this year. We're very excited for the future of Packer hockey. We had our exit meetings on last Friday, and there's a lot there that's. I told all these young kids, I said, we need to have a big summer, going into next year, to build this program to another level that I know it can be at. So with that being said, we did have Roddick Simons was an all-conference player for us this year. Jackson Schultz was an all-conference honorable mention player. Cole Stever, another captain that I mentioned, was all-conference honorable mention. And we had 2 sophomores, Jackson Horning and Roman Knight, that were all-conference honorable mention. So very cool to see those guys get recognized, and excited to see the future of what they can do for our program. And I just want to say thank you to our seniors that brought us to another level and kept building our program to what it can be in the future. So thank you for having us tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to bring up Faith Tuttle to talk about our girls wrestling program next.
Hi, thank you for having us tonight. So some of our team highlights for the girls wrestling this year, we had 18 girls out for wrestling, which was more than last year. One of the biggest teams in the state for us. For our dual meet this year, we were 7-4. We took second place in the Bemidji dual tournament out of probably 14 teams, some from out of state as well. Out of those tournaments, we had 5 wrestlers who won those tournaments. This year, we had 3 girls all conference for the Metro East Conference, including Brianna Martinez, our 106-pounder. And we had 2 honorable mentions as well. And this weekend, we have 4 girls that qualified for state that are going to be wrestling at the XL Energy Center this Saturday. So if you want to watch something or do something, that's what they'll be.
Come on. I'm Brianna Martinez. I'm a senior. What am I supposed to say? Okay.
You're doing great. We're a pro wrestling board.
I plan on wrestling college next year. And yeah.
For Stevens Point. Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah, thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good luck to Brianna and the rest of the girls wrestlers that'll be wrestling at the Excel on Saturday, as they said. All right, last but not least, the boys program. Mr. Neihart could not be here tonight, so I get the duties of sharing the highlights. And so, boys wrestlers, come on up. We have a good crew with us today. So, again, Mr. Neihart wanted to thank all of you as well for inviting us here tonight. He said we're very fortunate to have the continued support and great numbers of awesome families in the district, as well as many who work for the district as administrators, teachers, office staff, and maintenance staff. Our boys wrestling team had another positive season with 45 high school boys and another 22 middle school boys participating. Last year we lost, or I guess this year we lost 10 of 13 starters from our varsity lineup last season. So we had our work cut out for us. Getting a new squad up to par this year. We were able to make a lot of progress, mainly due to the work ethic of our wrestlers and our leaders amongst them. Our junior varsity ended up winning all but 2 of their dual meet competitions this year and earned many medals and tournaments that they competed in. The varsity team ended up with a 14-5 dual meet record and made it to the section finals last weekend, where they finished 4 AA section runners-up. 2 wrestlers were named all conference, 2 honorable mention. This past Saturday, 4 boys qualified for the state tournament, in which will be happening this coming week at the Excel Energy Center. The boys will wrestle on Friday, girls individual wrestlers on Saturday. So 4 wrestlers were also named to our academic all section, and the team earned the MWCA Academic All-State Gold Honor Awards with a 3.7 team GPA. So I'm going to let these guys talk and introduce themselves quickly, then we'll share some of their highlights.
Hello, my name is Brady Viner, and I was the 172-pounder for majority of the season. And I love wrestling. I started my sophomore year, and my dad told me it was going to be really hard. And I said, I'll do it because I want to do something hard that would be challenging for myself. And it really was. It was really hard coming out of practice every day, feeling like I was going to pass out on the ground. But I kept pushing through it, and I really told myself every day that I can do this, and that this will show that I am a good wrestler and also I'm a good athlete. And yeah, that's all I can say.
My name is Amari Wallow. I was the 189-pounder this year. I like wrestling just because I like how much dedication it takes. I love the hard work. I love just how much it pushes me to my limits. I think that's the one thing I've really enjoyed about this sport, and I hope to continue doing it in my senior year.
I'm Oliver Mundrud. I was the 152-pounder. State qualifier. I think our team did an amazing job this year. Like Mr. Krieger said, we lost 10 of the 13 starters, and we had big shoes to fill, and I think we did a really good job as a team. A lot of the younger kids stepping up, and our team's going to look real good in the future.
I'm King General Thompson, heavyweight for South St. Paul. I'm one of the 4 state qualifiers out of all of us. Yeah, wrestling, man, it's hard, bro. But it takes a lot of perseverance to even come back the next day after Nyhart comes and drills us with conditioning, have us running, doing burpees, then attack style drilling and stuff like that. I'm proud of myself and proud of all my teammates for even getting through this season after losing all of our seniors last year. Yeah, we did really good. I'm proud of us.
All right, some of the other individuals that could not be here tonight but definitely deserve recognition. Lucas Leistern was academic all-section. Tommaso Ciacchi, he's a captain. He's also a state qualifier, all-conference honorable mention. Ty Birchtold, he's a captain. He's also a state qualifier, academic all-section. Melvin Gutierrez is another captain, all-conference honorable mention, as well as academic all-section. Enrique Reyes was their other all-conference award. So, again, great job to these wrestlers. They're not lying when they say wrestling is a brutal and grueling sport. So they do a great job. And again, thanks to Mr. Nyhart for all the work that he does. He's a phenomenal coach, does a great job of getting kids out and keeping kids out. All right. That's all we got. So that is the last little bit that we have. Again, I just want to thank all of our coaches and advisors that work with these kids. They do an absolutely phenomenal job. One of the best parts of my job is watching these individuals work and interact with these kids, and just the lifelong impact that they have on them is pretty incredible. We have some really, really good people that do some really, really good things for the kids in South St. Paul, and should all be proud of the work that they do. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you, Brady, for bringing all of these students to present to us. It's a privilege as the board to be able to get first dibs on hearing about these things and the opportunity to share all of this with our community. So thank you. All right. Now it's time to shift to the businessy stuff. We've got reports listed on our agenda. First, we will start with stakeholder comments to the board highlights. As a reminder to the community, there are two ways to make comment to the board. You may either submit an online form that's available on the district website under school board, or you may appear in person to the entire board. And we have set aside time at our extended work session meetings, which are the second Monday of the month at 6:30 at the district office. So on February 11th at our work session, we had two comments submitted. One was submitted online, thanking the board for striving to be a safe space for all students and listing out ways that they have observed that commitment. The second comment was given in person, and it was challenging us as a board to be more aware of our meeting structure, processes, and engagement. I'd like to thank these two members of the public who've come to make comments to the board. First, it's wonderful to hear positive feedback. And second, it is important to us that we hear from the community ways that we can improve and grow, in addition to all the other reasons that people come to make public comment to the board. Now I will turn things over to Vice Chair Claflin to give us an update on this evening's work session.
Thank you. This evening we heard department overviews from Mr. Rachath for the finance department, Joel Miltier for our HR, and Ms. Tina Moses for technology. And it really stood out just how much our administration is able to accomplish and how much they are responsible for with a really small staff underneath them. These folks are responsible for our nutrition services, transportation, buildings and grounds, making sure we have a budget that's ready and passed on time and within our fiscal capacity, to make sure that we're recruiting, retaining, attracting, and supporting the staff that we have, making sure we're negotiating contracts, and making sure we have a technology department that supports both the infrastructure and the I'm going to stumble over the word, the pedagogical instruction that is using all of this technology to its best capacity in the classrooms. They were really amazing. At the previous work session, we'd also heard updates from other departments. This helps us bring in the new board members and helps remind us as well of all of the different roles that these folks play throughout our district. And then 2 weeks ago at our work session, we also heard from the Native American Advisory Committee, and we'll be hearing more about that tonight. And we had a discussion with Joel Miltier about the negotiations process as well. Quite a bit going on at our work sessions. And as always, the minutes very thoroughly go through what's happened at previous meetings.
Thank you, Vice Chair Claflin. Next up is the superintendent's update. Dr. Zambrino, I'm going to hand it over to you to give us a kind of budget update on
Yes.
the exciting going on in the
Yes.
district. Danette, is everything
Danette's
working?
trying to get the slide deck to work here. We figured since she's helping out, we'd throw every curveball at her here tonight, you know.
Keep me on my toes.
Just give a second here while she's doing that. But yes, you know, obviously it's fun to come and share the great things going on around the district, and I'll be sure to do that tonight as well. But as you said, it is time to start looking at our budget and planning for next year as we, all right, nice job, Danette. We talked a little bit about this at the work session, how we live in these multiple years. We have our calendar year that everyone knows, but when you're in school, you have your school year. But the one that's really kind of on our minds now is the next fiscal year. So we're at that point in the year where we really need to start beginning to think through our budget for next year. As a reminder, our board needs to approve our budget for FY26 by the end of June. So that's our end point to make sure we're all set to go for next year and setting up a budget that clearly shows our values and supports our staff and students in doing their best work. But before I jumped into the nitty gritty on next year, I thought it's probably worth just a quick reminder of how we got to where we are. And so just about 3 years ago today, I was hired on as superintendent in the spring of 22. At that time, we were in the middle of our budget planning for FY22 for that 22 year. Or FY23, and we were facing a number of things that were driving our dollars down. So we had a $1.4 million reduction, and I threw just a few dates on here to show kind of what's been happening. This is something we've talked about a lot with our board, but we've been losing about 100 students per year, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. And so every time we lose students, obviously the funding that they generate goes with them, and so we need to adjust our staffing to align with our enrollment. But at that time, we had another thing that was going on. We had a big influx of dollars of one-time funds from the federal government. COVID relief dollars, ESSER dollars, there's a number of things you might have heard those referred to. But because those were going to go away, we in South St. Paul and many other districts were facing a pretty significant fiscal cliff. And so we talked about that with the board at the time, knowing that, you know, if no action happened, we were going to be facing major reductions. So on the heels of that $1.4 million reduction, we would be looking at something in the neighborhood of around $2 million. And so the board did at that time decide to move forward and ask two questions to the taxpayers. That was part of what we called our Packer Pride, Packer Promise. So there were two questions on the ballot that fall. And the first one was really to help us maintain what we had. We knew the ESSER funding was going to go away, and if we didn't have something to fill that in, we were going to have to make reductions. So we were very lucky that those kind of came online at the same time. But really the priorities on that first question, maintain class size and programming that we had. And then we added a second question. The board decided to add that second question, knowing a lot of our students were having a tough go coming off of the pandemic. One, we'd seen some changes to programming and supports, but we know that everybody experienced a lot of trauma. It's kind of nice that it's not in the front of my mind, but I think all of us experienced a lot of trauma during that, as did our kids. And so we really were trying to put together the supports and pieces to make sure our kids were going to be successful. So thankfully, very appreciative that our taxpayers did support both questions. You can flip that to net. And, you know, obviously with that comes a lot of responsibility for us to make sure we deliver on what we said. Again, question one really was a almost one-to-one replacement of the ESSER funds. And so one of the things I want to do is try to push us to start thinking a little differently about where we are with the referendum, because question one functionally sunset when those ESSER dollars sunset. So then you're looking at, okay, we talk sometimes about question two, and we did a lot of things with question two. Let me just real quick point out the class sizes, because I know that's one of the questions that's come up around that question one piece. Sorry, Danette, thank you. I did pull out of Infinite Campus as our student information system, and so I ran a run on all of our class sizes across the district. In elementary, you have what we call homerooms. Those are the classroom teachers. They are average about 23 between Lincoln and Kaposia together. And then for secondary, it's a little bit different because the kids go class to class. So I pulled their core classes, which is math, English, science, social studies, as well as like the elective classes. Those are the classes where most students are. And at the middle school, that class size average was 24, and at the high school is 26. And those are actually pretty fantastic class sizes. When I've asked around to other superintendents where they're sitting at high school, they're saying mid 30s to upper 30s in a lot of cases. So thankfully, we were able to deliver on that part of the promise. But that was just one piece. So the other piece, as I said, question 2 came in. All of those extra dollars went right into our schools. And so we did a number of great things. So we brought in that extra mental health support that our students wanted. So now at each site, we have school counselors, social workers, psychs, lots of support for our students there. We brought in academic intervention, so more support, individualized or small group support in math or reading. We've been having a really great time reworking our academic framework with our Pathway to Packer Promise. And it's been really fun watching the high school grow with that. So one, it's the courses being developed, but even the processes of how kids are learning about our courses. If you saw the course registration process, shout out to our high school team there. We launched 5th grade band, so great to see the picture there of our kids getting a chance to try some instruments before they have to make that decision at middle school. We added college and career advisors. So part of the work we did when I first came in was lots of listening, lots of engagement, surveys, interviews. We met with students. One of the things I see a student over here nodding, they were really clear, we don't know how to make some of these choices. We want more guidance and support. And so we brought in Mr. Booth as our new college and career advisor. And if anybody knows Mr. Booth, the kids love him. He's been helping kids do their applications and figure out, am I looking at trades? Am I looking at university? Maybe the military, whatever it is. He's got a great connection with the kids to help them with that. And then the picture in the bottom corner, there's Mr. Knaus, which is our new program we're building out called Talent Development and Advanced Academics. And so Mr. Knaus, another person that, I mean, the kids just love this guy. I love that he's bilingual, so when he's trying to understand the talents and gifts our kids bring, language isn't a barrier either. So these are the things we did and built in over the time. These all cost more than question 2. So that's why I want to push us to understand at this point, the referendum is there and it's in our general fund, right? And so those dollars are there. They went right to our schools in the form of class size and all these great programs and supports we built out. But, you know, we have to try to keep and maintain those things. Now, again, I hold personally like a deep moral responsibility or to be fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars. I think everybody on our team feels a great sense of responsibility. One, we're responsible for educating 3,000 children, and we're being entrusted with nearly $50 million a year to do that. So it's a big responsibility, but we have a great team of people to do the work. And like at our sites, I've talked many times about the great work our teachers are doing, and our principals are leading that work with them. And the proof is in the pudding. We have a ways to go, no doubt, but we are up in proficiency in math, reading, science. Our graduation rates are up, and our consistent attendance rates are up. So that tells me that the pieces we built out and put into place are yielding those dividends. We also have seen a dramatic drop in student behavior. I know Principal Britoy shared that at the PTA, and I see Ms. Sexauer sitting over here. She and I have had that conversation multiple times. You know, obviously life is messy. Kids make mistakes. That's part of the work we do, but it's back in that just normal, and our schools feel great. But again, we still have our work to do, and we still are facing some challenges, in particular our declining enrollment. So I wanted to give just some historical context before I jump into what's driving our budget for next year. All right, thank you. So what drives our budget? Really, our money comes in, often we talk about per pupil funding, and there's a few areas. This is not everything, but it covers the big buckets. So we get local dollars, so we talked about our levy. We get others, we have some investments that are making interest. There's other small funding streams that come in. That generates about $12.5 million for the district. Then the state has what's called the general formula allowance, and often when we hear we need more funding, often that's what people are speaking to, is just that per pupil allocation that we get. We also receive grants, money for students with disabilities or English learners, or compensatory revenue, which is for students in poverty. Those are what we call categorical funds. They're specific to groups within those categories. And as you can see, this is very complex as I explain it. And then we also get federal funding, which is our smallest bucket, about $1.25 million. And I think we expect that number to decline as the COVID funds have gone away. We've seen that number kind of shrinking. So those are the funds that we get, and then it really ties to our enrollment. As I mentioned, SSPPS has been declining enrollment for more than a decade. From census to census, from 2010 to 2020, our birth rates were down 31% in South St. Paul proper. And so basically what that looks like is in 2010, you might have seen 240 kids born in a year, almost 250. This last time in 2020, that's our incoming kindergarten group, there was about 185 births. So we're seeing this decline not through anything that we haven't done well, but just that we've seen lower birth rates. Now on a positive side, we have seen most of our sites come in over projection. So I'm hoping that as we start to reestablish what our trends are, we're seeing that trend up. But, you know, we hear about record investment from the state, and that's great to hear that. The realities for us is that our costs are continuing to outpace our funding. But there's really, like I said, there's two main drivers. One, you can go to the next slide there, Danette, thank you, would be that declining enrollment. So when you think of 100 students leaving, the dollars go with them. I don't like to think about our students in terms of dollars. There's so much more, but nonetheless, they do generate their funding. And with that is about, I'm saying about because it depends on the kids. If they're getting special ed services, English learner, if they qualify as in poverty, they might bring compensatory revenue. But as those kids leave, those dollars go with them. And so we're expecting about an 850,000, 750 to $1 million is really the range depending on who the kids are. And what we talk about there is where we can address that through right sizing or aligning our enrollment to our staffing to our enrollment. Less kids, unfortunately, means less staff, but we can afford some, we can do some cost containment there. But the bigger one that I really want to make sure people are tracking is our compensatory education funding. So I'll go a little slower now because this is what I really want to make sure everyone hears. So compensatory education, in my opinion, is one of the best things that the state of Minnesota has had. And what it has done is it has said, when you have students in poverty, we're going to give you extra money for those students. And if you reach higher concentrations of poverty, you get higher amounts of money. And that has helped us dramatically. We've had about $4.5 million of compensatory revenue each year. Unfortunately, there was a change as they passed the universal free lunch. The legislation made a change and they're counting students differently. And this is where it gets a little more technical. But the state right now is only counting students who receive what we call a direct certification. Students who their families get services from the county. Maybe they get SNAP benefits or they're getting medical assistance. There's a lot of ways that kids end up with the county and they get automatically certified for that, what we used to call that free or reduced price lunch. Again, with universal free lunch, no one pays for lunch, so I'm not sure really what that term is, but we still use that free and reduced price lunch for a number of reasons. But the way we used to do that was we would get applications. So you've heard me here many times asking families, fill out your application for education benefits. And we need those. Those are how we used to establish who would qualify for free or reduced price lunch. And we need those to come in because when we file for E-rate, which is our subsidies for our technology, that depends on that count. Field trips, people don't necessarily realize when we go take the kids to a field trip, a lot of times the price is based on our FRL status, free and reduced price lunch status. So we might get it free or a reduced price. And then our students and families get benefits. So we needed to collect those forms. But what has happened is because they're only counting those direct certifications through the county, they're saying our number is 42%. Our actual count with direct certification plus the students who filled out that application for ed benefits is actually 58%. So our true poverty rate is right at around 58%. So this means that the new funding calculation is missing about 16% of our students who do qualify through their application for educational benefits, but are not generating compensatory revenue. And I'm gonna walk through what that looks like for us here. It's pretty devastating. So I was at a meeting with the Department of Education. Again, I want to make sure, that people understand there really wasn't anything we could do. We just didn't know that this was the system that was coming forward. And I really appreciate that the governor has already put forward a proposal to fix it. But I need to have us plan as if it's not, because as of today, it has not been fixed. And so I was shocked to attend the meeting. I had already known Jason Mutzenberger, who's been supporting us from CISO as we transitioned finance, had told me, did you know you're losing $1.5 million in compensatory? My heart about sunk. And I was like, what are you talking about? And normally I can go on the state's website and run a report. That report normally shows up in October. It didn't show up in October, November, December. I finally reached out to MDE right around that same time Jason mentioned that, and they said, yeah, there was a change. And that change now puts us in the top 10 most losing districts in total dollar amount. So if nothing changes and we only count direct certified students, we're going to go from 4.5 million to 3 million. And we're going to lose 1.5 million. So dollar-wise, that puts us at number 10. But if we go to the next slide, what I did is I took that dollar amount and I divided it by enrollment for the various districts. And you see that we're actually number 5, the most impacted per student of any district, of all the districts in the state. It looks equally troubling, in my opinion, on the other side of that. So if we look at, there are actually winners in this situation at the moment. You can see that some Minnesota transitions charters set to potentially gain 4.3 million, and they're under 5,000 kids. If we take this one now and divide their total dollar amount by their student enrollment, go ahead on the next slide, it's staggering. So you see that some of these schools or school districts are going to get over $3,500, $3,300, $2,400 more per student. So I truly believe this was like an accounting oversight. I think there's good intention to fix this. The governor has asked for the legislature to pass what he's calling a hold harmless that would allow us to maintain our student count for one more year. And so I want to share some of the things we're doing to make sure that's happening. So I did immediately reach out to the governor's office as soon as I found out that, asked, trying to get some information. Had a really good talk with our commissioner, Willie Jett, the commissioner of education, to talk about it. And he shared the governor's desire to get that fixed through what he's calling a hold harmless. And then what they want to do is establish a work group to then spend some time figuring out a long-term solution. And the commissioner asked me if I would be willing to serve on that, and absolutely I would. Director Cummings is working to help get some meetings set up with me and Chair Human and himself to go and talk to our legislators and share more of that detail so they can see those numbers that we just looked at. And again, I appreciate that the governor's got a hold harmless fix. If they do, they'll hold our count. It's not the dollar amount, it's the count of students that's held constant. But not only would we get our $1.5 million, we'd gain another 120,000 based on the numbers that I saw in the meeting with the Department of Education. And if I get that opportunity to volunteer on that committee, you can rest assured I'll be there to advocate for our district. So I want to make sure people know, how can you help? Reach out to our legislators, please, and let them know we need you to pass the bill that creates a governor's compensatory revenue hold harmless. And we're going to have this on our website so people can go ahead and find that information on our website. I've talked personally with Matt Klein, Senator Klein, and Representative Hansen. They've heard it. They know what's going on. They're also not on those education committees. So that's why I want to make sure people know there's an education finance committee both in the House and Senate, and that's who can really help move this bill out of committee. And so that information is available on our website. I know that's a ton of information, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So if we are able to work with our legislators and the governor, we're looking at keeping our compensatory revenue plus adding a little bit that would actually offset some of that reduction we're thinking we have to do due to our right sizing, due to our declining enrollment. I know that's a lot of information. Our board, has kind of heard some of that before. Curious if there's any questions before I move forward with the report.
I think just a reminder, I know you're saying reach out to our legislators. It's really important, even if we are all, especially because we're all going to be saying the same thing, hearing from as many people as possible really helps prove how important it is for them to take care of this.
Right. And I think a lot of it is also information. They have a lot of things come at them, lots of different special interests. And so we want to make sure this doesn't get lost in the noise. So we want to be noisy, but friendly noisy, so that we can keep them in our corner advocating for us. And like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic it'll all work out. But, we need to take some action on this one. And I know there's been other things that have gone to the legislature and haven't always worked out our way. I do feel like this is one where we can make a big impact. So thank you for that. Now let's talk about some fun things. Packer Pride in action. We have a nice slate of teachers who are nominated for Teacher of the Year. So great group of educators. I know them all. We have a good representation, obviously, from our middle school with Larry Britton, Tyne Griffey, Rachel Mathill, and Mark Westfall. So they're all in that mix. And then Megan Franson, new mom, coming back and being nominated for Teacher of the Year. So very cool. The process is they move forward, and then there's a committee that they have a Teacher of the Year program, that they have a committee that comes together to select those teachers who model excellence in education. And they do that for both public and private. So they'll independently evaluate each of their portfolio. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Needless to say, all of these teachers are very deserving, and I could go on and on about how great our teachers are and how many deserve it with the core training they've done, all the work we're doing to rebuild our pathways, and we talked about tech implementation. There's so many great things going on, but congratulations to those folks, whether they make it through or not. They're excellent teachers in our book every day. Also heard a little bit about Athena Award. We had Scarlett here a little bit ago, chosen as this year's Athena Award winner. The Athena Award is given to Outstanding Female Senior Athlete, and it is Scarlett has done a lot. We heard some of that earlier. She's earned varsity letters and all-conference honors in soccer, basketball, and track and field, and also a varsity letter in weightlifting. She's made 2 state appearances for track and field and earned all-state honors in both track and soccer. And of course, like many of our kids, she's just a proven leader. She's been captain of all 3 sports and is a member of our student council trying to pay it forward at her school. So very excited to celebrate her. There's a luncheon on April 16th, and luckily we're small enough that I get the invite, so it's super fun to go every year and see all of those amazing women, because when you hear the stories of all of these Athenas, it's inspirational. We've been doing a lot of great things to get our families excited about next year and into our buildings, and so want to make sure people are aware of our middle school family tours. So the middle school has a series of tours available for future families, and really it's intended to get you into the building and your child into the building to feel more comfortable with middle school. I was a middle school principal for 8 years. My wife's a middle school teacher. I promise you can make the adjustment. Everybody comes out okay and even stronger, but we know it is one of those big moments to go from that middle school or from the elementary to the middle school. But they're going to give you a tour of the cafeteria, media center, show where the counseling, I mentioned all the supports we have. So we have counselors, social work, others in the office, the gym, the art rooms, all kinds of things that they'll show off. And you can see that on Friday the 7th, March 7th at 10 in the morning, if that time works slot. But then Principal Borg also put some afternoon slots on March 10th and April 30th at 5 o'clock. And then on the April 30th in Español también is in Spanish as well. And then at the earliest level, earlier levels, we've been welcoming in our families as well. So we had 2 great kindergarten registration or open houses. I actually was able to attend both the one at Lincoln and Kaposia, each unique, but each awesome, and such a welcoming environment for the new kids, and to just see the wonder and excitement on the kids. I know our communications team, so Danette and Lisa and others kind of helped rally around our principals, because they do so much to help make these events great. And I heard some feedback from a parent who had an older child go through and then a younger child now, and goes, wow, there's so much good information in there. So like I said, with our high school registration and all of these things, we're really making a bunch of intentional focus work to help our families make those transitions. So please check those out. Tuesday the 15th at Kaposia. We did this already. We have open houses still coming up at April 15th and April 16th. So the 15th at Kaposia, 16th at Lincoln. And you can always register or sign your child up for any of our programs on our website. We have early learning, but we also have just an enroll tab that you can enroll any grade level, anytime. We heard Mr. Holson talk about the new theater performance coming up. So the winter performance is All Quiet on the Western Front. I've been to some of their performances that are a little heavy, and I'm anticipating this one's probably going to have some heartfelt moment or some tearful moments. But they have a couple of matinees on Saturday and Sunday, the 15th and 16th of March, and then the evening performances, the 14th and 15th at 7. So lots of opportunities to go and support our very talented kids. And I love that, like we heard about athletics, but we hear all these other ways that kids really connect through the arts as well. So excited about that. Fitting that we're sharing this year, we do have our NAPAC here in just a moment. We'll hear from our Native American Parent Advisory Committee, but we did want to make sure people are aware that there is a powwow that we'll be participating in, and it is honoring a St. Paul Public Schools. I can't get the South out. Do you see that? I've become truly South St. Paul. It's recognizing a staff member from St. Paul Public Schools as well. So it's a joint effort, and we hope everyone will be there on March 9th at 1 o'clock. But it does go all day or into the evening. There's a kickoff, a Grand March. If you've ever been to a powwow, the Grand March is amazing to watch people enter, and then there's a feast at 6. So it's kind of going on all day there to enjoy that. Another open house we had was our National African American Parent Involvement Day, sometimes NAPID, I hear it different ways. I was able to get to each one of our sites on that morning as well. Great turnout, super fun. We always welcome everybody in, but the event really is focused on learning around engaging our African American families and centered on Black history and culture and parent involvement. And again, you can see we have parents from all walks coming in to celebrate that. So thank you for our schools putting that on, and thank you to everyone who came there. 6th grade BizTown. I'm looking at somebody who was emotionally invested in that. We had a little blip there for a moment where the weather got in our way. So we were supposed to take the 6th graders to BizTown. I don't remember the exact date, but it was one of our few snowstorms, so they got pushed. We were worried that we could get it in, but Ms. Borg worked really hard to find another date that everybody could go. So our 6th graders did get to go. It's called Junior Achievement BizTown in St. Paul. But the BizTown trip, for those who aren't aware, it's a simulated city. So it's designed to teach our students about the work world, money management, entrepreneurship. Again, all those themes that our kids say they want to learn more about. Prior to the trip, they spend time in class preparing for their workday, applying for jobs, interviewing. They have a mayor who's elected. They have all kinds of different positions. So then during the day, students manage payroll. They invoice other companies, apply for business loans, work diligently to pay back those loans by the end of the day. I think that we have a payroll opening. Maybe we'll get one of our kids in there. But between their tasks, it's really fun too. They get to take the money they earn and they get to spend it in the store there. So really fun opportunity to learn some real applied life skills. And then just some dates to remember. So March 7th is no school. We have a professional development day for our staff. March 20th, there's no school for grades pre-K through 5. And then we're just knocking on the door of spring break. Can you believe that? March 21st to 28th, spring break. It did feel like it out there today. PTA meetings coming up, 6 o'clock on the 4th for Kaposia, 7 o'clock on the 10th for Lincoln, and then we have conferences on March 19th and 20th. Also, again, flying here, so the last day of Try-2 is coming up on March 6th. We got a school dance sponsored by SAD on the 7th, which I know is always kind of an emotional thing when our SAD students come forward, but great that they're there to remind our kids about being safe when they're doing things like going to a dance. And then Try-3, we're on that home stretch, starts on March 10th. Lots of athletics and activities coming up. So on the 10th, we got track and field and softball starting, 17th, baseball and golf, and then the 24th of March, opening day for boys tennis. So we're hoping for a lovely weather spring where the fields are nice and dry and everybody can perform at their very best. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Zambrino. All right. Whew.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. All right, we're going to get through the rest of this agenda. I am now looking for a motion to approve the consent items on tonight's agenda, which include the financial claims, bills payable, and staffing as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All right, we are excited, talking about baseball, to have Director Duffy on our board. He's so well connected with our schools, with the students, with the staff, with our community. However, being super connected like that sometimes presents times when Ryan will have to abstain from voting to prevent a conflict of interest. Tonight is a great example of this. Director Duffy appears on the agenda technically twice. Once here in the consent agenda because the baseball coach salary is part of that, and then later as we pass a resolution in order to approve him being a sub and coach in our district. Because the consent agenda is a very specific financial stake for Director Duffy, we do ask that you abstain from this vote, but the resolution later requires the entire board to vote, and so you are able to vote on that one. Okay. Is there any other discussion regarding the consent agenda? Okay, so I'm looking for all those in favor of passing to please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, section 5 of the agenda. We are at policy. District policies play a critical role in the governance work of the school board. All district policies are available on our website under the About Us tab, located within the school board section under SSPPS policies. This evening, we have a series of policies on our agenda for review. These policies were initially reviewed by the Board Policy Committee on February 5th, and they are now up for review from the full board. They will be reviewed a third time at our next business meeting. They are listed: Policy 627, 307, 401, 404, 536, 101.1 and 101, 103, 501, 502, 505, 512, 526, 528, 801.1, and 903. At this time, I'm seeking a motion to approve the policies listed on the agenda this evening.
I think we're on our second read.
Second reading. I am looking to have, I'm just like acknowledge that we're doing a second
Yeah, we're
reading
just
of the
acknowledging it,
policies
yes.
listed on our agenda. Okay. The motion for it though, or no? Oh, yeah, okay. We're acknowledging that we've done it?
I don't think we
know.
need to, yeah, I think
Lisa
we're
will
okay.
figure it out
Yeah,
later,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
No, yeah, we're good, we're good.
Note that we need to, so.
Okay,
it's
then
our-
I'm gonna
it's our
go with
second
that.
reading. We'll-
If she left you no note, then
Right.
it was me.
That's all good. It's our second reading, so once
Yeah.
it comes back for the third, then we'll have you all vote and.
So I just want to say 11 of the 16 policies that were listed this evening have like essentially no changes. They just come up annually and we just have to make sure that we review them. The one I think that might be the most interesting to the public is policy 536, which is student information technology acceptable use. And most people have probably been looking for this because the state had said that we need to, every school in the state has to have a cell phone policy. So we have added wording in order to put our cell phone policy into policy 536. So if anyone's interested, that's why. All right, then we move on to business items. First up, we are looking for approval for a girls hockey cooperative agreement between South St. Paul Public Schools and New Life Academy, beginning with the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. I'd like to call Brady Kruger up to share more about this co-op agreement.
Hi there. So we are looking at forming a girls hockey co-op for a couple reasons. We formed a co-op with New Life Academy on the boys' side this past year, and it worked out really well, I think, for both schools. One of the things that I think we have to kind of recognize is that there's just some changing demographics and changing participation levels with our current offerings and opportunities, and my goal is to make sure that we're continuing to offer the programs that we have always offered for our kids that want to compete. So we've started to co-op in some other sports, and girls hockey is just kind of one of those sports that I guess the trending and where our numbers are showing that we're going to need to kind of co-op to continue to offer girls hockey here. So we've continued to see kind of a decline in numbers. We are okay kind of next year, but then there's a pretty significant drop after our current juniors and current sophomores. We have quite a healthy numbers there, but there is a pretty significant drop. So hopefully this will allow us to maintain the programming and maintain the level of programming that we have come to enjoy at South St. Paul.
Do we have any questions?
Chair Human, I was wondering, are they still going to play under the banner of South St. Paul?
Yes. They will play under the banner of South St. Paul. That's what part of the agreement was. So if you were at any of our boys hockey games, you probably didn't even notice that we had a co-op with New Life Academy because they are all in Packer gear, Packer attire.
Brady, will that be a 2-year?
Yes, so all co-ops are initially a 2-year agreement, and then we are required to come before the board as well as our conference and section to continue to get approval for those.
Any further questions? All right, if there's no further discussion, I will ask all those in favor to please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right,
7-0.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, I am now looking for approval for the South St. Paul Board to accept the Native American Parent Advisory Committee's vote of non-concurrence. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. All right, I welcome Amy Winter to come up and present. And I would like to share that the full board was able to hear the information presented to us in person on Monday, February 10th by the NAPAC co-chair Renee Davis. I see you in the back. Thank you for coming. And member Siobhan Lashley. And I will ask Amy to provide us with more information.
Thank you. Good evening, Board Chair Human, members of the board, and Dr. Zambrino. I am here to present on behalf of the Native American Parent Advisory Committee, or NAPAC, and I do want to acknowledge Renee Davis in the back. And so I'm summarizing what they shared to the board. The NAPAC board members were able to meet with you in person at the board work session on February 10th. In accordance with the requirements set forth by the state, the NAPAC convenes annually before March 1st to evaluate whether the educational offerings provided by the district meets the needs of our American Indian students. This year, after a comprehensive review, the NAPAC has voted to issue a resolution of non-concurrence, expressing their belief that the district has not fully met these needs. Administration recommends that the board formally accept the vote decision and acknowledge the concerns raised by the NAPAC. I will outline the key concerns and recommendations put forth by the committee to address the ongoing challenges faced by Native American students in the South St. Paul Public Schools. The key concerns that they identified is that the NAPAC remains committed to addressing the persistent achievement gap between Native American students and their peers. Despite some areas of improvement, the committee identified significant ongoing disparities in academic achievement, daily attendance, and graduation rates. Additionally, the NAPAC has emphasized the lack of inaccurate data collection in recent years as a significant concern. Incomplete or inaccurate data impedes the district's ability to design and implement targeted interventions that could effectively address these disparities. Some feedback that they did give this year on the vote is that they did acknowledge that they are seeing areas of improvement. In particular, that they recognize that the district has begun addressing issues related to data collection. In conclusion, while progress has been made in some areas, the Native American Parent Advisory Committee urges the district to prioritize recommendations outlined in their previous presentation. Implementing these changes will be crucial in closing the achievement gap, improving data practices, and ensuring Native American students receive the support they need to thrive academically and socially in South St. Paul Public Schools. On behalf of the NAPAC, I thank you for your time and consideration and encourage the board to formally accept the vote decision and commit to addressing these critical areas moving forward.
Thank you. Is there any discussion, concern? I just want to specifically thank Renee for being here and also all the members of NAPAC for their commitment to bettering our school system to support our Native American students. We truly want to do right by all of our students, but especially those who have been historically not taken care of. And I thank you for your commitment in helping us do that work. All right, if there is no discussion, I will ask those in favor to please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We accept 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item C. I am looking for approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the joint powers agreement for school wellness between the County of Dakota and Special School District 6. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. I look forward to hearing more about this project, and I invite Assistant Principal Jen Sexhauer to talk to us. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm Jen Sexhauer, Assistant Principal at Lincoln Center. How do I show the picture?
I'll do it.
Okay. I'm like, I'm not sure where to put that. I'm here to talk about a grant that I wrote along with the SHIP funds from the Dakota County. This past fall, they actually reached out to let us know that the district had funding that had not been allocated and could be applied for. At Lincoln for the last couple months, the PTA and administration have been working collaboratively to write grants to start an outdoor classroom. We have the space off of That's 4th Street, and it's where our garden club has started. So this, as you can see on the screen, is a picture of the visual that the company that we've been working with has designed for us. And we are looking to expand using the grant of a little over $7,000. This money will help us expand the garden portion, as well as in this picture, what's missing is like a canopy of sorts to protect from elements. This money will also help, as you can see back in the picture, kind of the curricular parts of with tables, chairs, and then like a rolling blackboard type thing. This money can help us fund that. Our hope by having an outdoor classroom that not only expands our science program, but just it can be an inclusive space for all. This grant is just a tiny piece of a bigger puzzle of money that we are writing grants for. Our PTA is actually in the process right now of waiting. They find out by Friday if they get a grant that they wrote for. But our commitment is, regardless of whether we get all of the money through grants or if we have to do fundraising, we'd like to get started. So through the SHIP money, one of the pieces is that I need to present our ideas to the school board to accept this money from them. And what I will tell you is our first steps will be this spring, starting the perimeter of the classroom by expanding the garden that we already have there, using our garden club. And then the science teacher would like to then start to lay out kind of a foundation with some of the materials that we can buy doing the tables and chairs, et cetera. As you can see on there, we are going to need to eventually put like a landscape that is a flat surface. I can't think of the name right now. It's been a 12-hour day. So, but because this will be wheelchair accessible for all of our students. And so we will eventually have grounding that will weather the elements, et cetera. But at least this year we can start with the money and get going with things, and then purchase items that will add to our science curriculum, which is standards-based. So I am looking to do this just to make school just another element. You saw all these activities that students like to be involved in, and we are trying to expand our ways of providing new kinds of learning for our students. I think it'll be used, like I said, not only by our science classes, but by all of the school. So I'm just here to get approval for our money.
Does anyone have any questions for Jen? I have one question, but it's actually for our student reps, who I know are both Lincoln Center students. How do you feel about this opportunity at your old stomping grounds?
I think it's a great opportunity for these kids to, get outside of the classroom and get a little bit more fresh air and learn about new things. I think that's a great thing for them.
Yeah, and even,
I just said thank you.
Oh, yeah. And even when we first had like the Gaga pits like installed, like everyone loved being outside and playing. I enjoyed it as well. So having a garden club and plants would be amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot of student support there. Great. All right, if there is no further discussion, I ask all those in favor to please say aye.
Aye. All right, thank you.
Opposed? None. Great. Congratulations, 7-0.
I'll let them know. Thanks.
All right, business item D, approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution approving employment of a school board member as a coach and substitute in a certified position in the school district. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. And I invite Human Resources Director Joel Miltier to speak to us about this.
Great. Thank you very much. According to Minnesota Statute 123B.195, school board members may be employed by the school district as an employee as long as the amount earned does not exceed $20,000 in a fiscal year. Additionally, employment must receive majority approval at a meeting in which all board members are present. The board member on this resolution has been a coach in the past and would like to also be considered as a substitute teacher for the 24-25 school year. Majority approval by the school board is necessary for this vote.
So as I had mentioned earlier, this is the second item that includes Director Duffy, and because this requires a full board vote, We are going to allow you to vote on this, please do. And it has been our past practice that we have done that. This is not the first time the board has addressed this. Just back in October, 3 other members had a similar resolution passed. Is there any discussion? No? Danette, will you please read the roll?
Director Claflin?
Yes.
Cummings?
Yes.
T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
And Chair Human?
Yes.
That is 7 yeas.
Thank you. The resolution carries. Our final business item today, I am looking for approval for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and/or positions and reasons therefore. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. This is a standard process that the board goes through at this time of year as we look towards the next fiscal and academic calendar year. As we had heard from Dr. Zambrino earlier, the financial situation of the district is dependent on what happens at the Capitol, but we must be fiscally responsible and prepare for the possibility that compensatory funding does not get resolved. And additionally, we need to look at our staffing and programs to right-size them for enrollment. I hand it back to Joel Meltier.
Great, thank you. As Chair Human mentioned, this is in regard to our budget each year. We do pass this same resolution or bring it to the board to pass this same resolution each year, just in case there's a need for us to reduce in staff or in programming for the next fiscal year. So we are asking for your approval tonight for the attached resolution. This resolution directs administration to make the recommendations for reductions in programs and positions. This resolution also is the initial step in the staffing process as it relates to potential unrequested leave of absences for teachers.
Any questions? Or further discussion? No? Danette, will you please call the roll?
Director T. Felton?
Yes.
Duffy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
W. Felton?
Yes.
Claflin? Yes. Cummings?
Yes.
And Chair Human?
Yes.
That's 7 yes.
All right, thank you. This concludes our business items, and now we move to section 7 of the agenda. I am happy to invite our student board reps up to give us an update on recent events and the work that they've been doing with Principal Ochaki and their advisory committee. So Jackson and Amal, please, our attention is focused on you. Oh. Okay. Record? Figure out which dongle is the right one.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Okay. Did that work?
There we go.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
It was going.
No. Oh, it's HDMI. I don't think I have that.
There should be a, like a,
I have USB-C.
yes. There's a bunch of,
The tech has been giving us a little run here tonight.
Yeah, I
but
think
Danette's
it's been a
done a
little
great
twitchy
job. She's
tonight.
been all over the place. You don't even know.
Yeah.
all these little attachments you can use.
Oh.
Let's see.
Oh, proceed.
Drum roll.
Oh, this feels
no.
promising.
Wait, I gotta disconnect. Hold on, guys. Good?
Let's see.
Can't tap. How do I? The proceed is right here, but it's not working.
Well, as we work through our tech issues, just a reminder how grateful we are to have student board reps who work with the board to help bring in student voice more directly. It's just a really neat opportunity for us to hear from students, especially those of us who, don't necessarily know what's happening in the high school firsthand or have kids who won't tell them firsthand what's happening at their school.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, while they're looking at tech, I did hear there was some potential legislation moving, talking about mandating that every school board has 2 student board reps. And I think you and I heard that together, Ryan and I was like, hey, we're already there. So we're ready if that time comes.
What is
We're
the
well
timeline for
represented.
when we interview for next year's board reps. I was like, we should be talking about reps. Ooh.
Hey.
This is it. Yay.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
We're cooking.
Okay, now here we are. Okay.
Excellent.
All right, here's our representative update. So we had a snow day, so we couldn't conduct our climate and culture survey, but we'll be conducting it tomorrow. So we'll have lots of data to bring to you next meeting. And the Principal Advisory Committee will review these results, and we'll review them, and we'll be sure to get a summary for you all.
Okay, so we are almost done with Try 2. The last day is on March 6th, and I know a lot of kids are getting ready, kind of geared up for finals and all that fun stuff. And we also have the ACTs coming up as well at the end of the March. And our last Wednesday of the month will take place in 2 days. Yeah, we got a homework-free break again.
For spring
that'll
break.
be awesome for spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
And then as we've heard from our Mr. Krieger and everybody, like we have a lot of excellence at South St. Paul with our activities and athletics. The dance team advanced to state and in both kick and jazz. And there's a lot of info on them. They got 9th in kick, 8th in jazz. Senior Haley Carlson was named in the Senior Academic Awards. You guys all saw her. And then for gymnastics, Scarlett Voss qualified and competed in the gymnastics individual state competition in bars, floor, and vault. So lots of talent. And then 4 varsity girls wrestlers qualified for the individual state tournament, and it's Zoe Rodis, Brianna Martinez, Leah Reed, and Haley Jackson. And then for boys wrestlers, 4 of them qualified for the individual state tournament. So Oliver Monsrud, King General Thompson, Ty Birchtold, and Tommaso Chalky.
And these are all section academic awards. Lucas Lazarine, Ty Birchtold, Melvin Gutierrez, King General Thompson, who you saw earlier, Zoe Roddins, Haley Jackson, Leela Reed, and Brianna Martinez, who you also got to meet. Yeah. These are winter athletics coming up next couple of weeks. The girls basketball team, as you heard earlier, has a section game on Wednesday, and the competition game against Minneapolis South. So go Packers.
Go Packers. And then, just quick promotion, we have the movie night this Thursday with Women's Society and BPO. It's called 6888, and it's a wonderful film. I hope many of you could attend if you'd like. So that is our update.
Next time we'll have those survey results. It's been 2 snow days in a row.
All right, thank you. Cold days. That is even worse. Cold days. Thank you so much. All right, now I am going to invite each of our directors to share any reports or committee updates or or moments of celebration that they want to share with the community. Let's start with Director Weber.
Just nothing in particular, just, the usual things. Looking forward to, going to some more events later this week. And then also knowing that 917, as the district that I also serve on as a board representative, also has similar fiscal challenges to what we have. So it's that time of year as we set up to create our budget as well.
Thank you. Director Cummings.
Thank you so much. In the last month, it's really been exciting to see our community. As I noted before, I went to a women's basketball game, and I was immediately struck by the cheer team that made that whole gym seem to explode with excitement. And I was really happy to see that our women won that night, did a fantastic job, and also headed out to the women's hockey game. I saw Dr. Zambrino at that women's hockey game before I think they went to sections. And so that was a great victory that night. 2 other events. There was the African American Parents' Day at the high school, which was a it was a really quite phenomenal event where we invited folks to come in from the state to talk to parents, and one of the people I was sitting with was King, and he was he came tonight to present, as Jackson was talking about, and he talked about the many different colleges. He applied to maybe a dozen colleges, so excited to hear where that went. And Amal, I was there for the MLK Day event. I don't get President's Day off. I get MLK Day off, but I was able to stay to watch Amal do a fantastic job in the reading. So I will finally just say that we are going to be meeting with legislators. And if people think that I'm not able to help my school, maybe you don't have kids in the school or whatever, right now is a moment in which you can contact your legislator. Contact Rick Hansen and Matt Klein and tell them the importance of this. And I will also just say that, in a time in which so many government services are plagued with chaos, that South St. Paul is doing all that we can to provide stability for our students and our parents so that we can provide high-quality education.
Thank you. Director Felton?
The Open meets this week, so nothing to add there, and I don't have anything further.
Okay. Vice Chair Claflin?
Thank you. First, just a brief update on the Facilities Finance and Long Range Planning Committee. We had met 2 weeks ago and heard an update from Mark Fenton about our facilities, all of the updates that are happening within our buildings that happened over the course of this year and what's planned for the summer. It's always interesting to see the changes that are made in our schools. It's not the way we remember any of the schools in our district. And thank goodness the Kaposia cafeteria is going to get rid of their carpet. Tile, please tile. We also heard a review of the food service audit, and I'm very grateful for all the staff working on student nutrition. And there's a lot of paperwork and record keeping, as well as providing the meals to our students. And I would like to recognize all of the hard work from our nutrition services staff. And then I was also able to join folks from South St. Paul at the Martin Luther King Day event. It was wonderful to see so many people making it out on a day that was colder than the day that it was originally scheduled for and canceled because of the cold. Our senior high students representing the Black Pride organization were wonderful speakers, and our elementary school students were involved as well, having written letters directly to Martin Luther King Jr. And they have a way of capturing the sentiments in such an exquisite way. They're very honest. And finally, I'd like to invite South St. Paul residents to join some of us and your other community members at South St. Paul Day on the Hill on March 1st. The third graders go to the Capitol, so we can all go. Maybe learn from the third graders. Bring them with.
Thank you. All right. Director Duffy?
Tim said we have our open meeting this week, and then AMSD's Friday.
I was looking. I don't think it's this week yet.
Well,
So
I hope it's not Friday. I'll be at the XL Energy Center. I will be there in support of our South St. Paul wrestlers. They, I believe, have the late session in state, so I'll be there.
Next Friday.
But I was able to attend the Sweethearts Dinner in support of our show choir, and the performances they put on were incredible. The singing, the dancing, I can't sing that well. And the time they put in to be able to perform that well is incredible. That was my first show choir performance I'd ever seen, so it was, I will be back. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so.
that's cool.
Good. Director Felton?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know I did my first really interesting, fun thing. If you've heard of Read Across South St. Paul, I did my first little reading section at Kaposia Education Center. And what it is, you volunteer to do a reading to a class in the building. And this was on Valentine's Day, just a couple weeks ago. And I volunteered to read a story to Mary Malumbi's kindergarten class, and it went real well. I read it was called The Red Apple, because it was red for Valentine's Day. And then I'll be doing the next one again on March 14th at Kaposia, and then there'll be one more also in April that I'll be attending. So looking forward to that, the Rita Krause South St. Paul volunteer people. And then, as I am the representative of our board on the Education Foundation, as has been mentioned in the past, as you know, our foundation does give out graduation scholarships to our senior students. And so looking forward to that, we will have potential, at least 150 students will be receiving scholarships. And the foundation has $616,000 in scholarship money that they can give to our students. So truly looking forward to that, beginning of May, when we attend that at the secondary building. So it's a true honor for those students, and we're so thankful and grateful to everyone who does donate all this money to our students in South St. Paul. So we truly, truly thank them very, very much. And then also coming up this week, this Thursday, at our senior center, and we will be having our luncheon. This week it is wild rice soup. So if you're a member of our senior center at Central Square, from 11:30 until 1 o'clock, you are invited to come to have something to eat, and it is very well. I'm so thankful and grateful to Linda Jacobs-Buse, because she is such a wonderful, wonderful cook, chef woman there. So looking forward to that this Thursday, to have a luncheon at Central Square. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll kind of touch on a little bit Central Square. One of my committee assignments is the Tri-District Community Ed Council, and we had met just a couple weeks ago. And I just want to remind our community ed program is amazing. And specifically, I have been tasked with reminding everyone that we have just an amazing adult basic education program right in our own Central Square. On top of all the other things that community ed is doing, we are the host of the Tri-District's Adult Basic Education, which includes English learning classes and people working on their high school equivalency diplomas and degrees. And I just want to remind people, like, we have this amazing gem in our community, and it's not getting utilized enough. So if you know people who are looking to take advantage of learning more, getting better English lessons, or getting English lessons in general, I just want to encourage people to remind those people and yourself that we have this available to us. It's really cool, and the work that they do there is life-changing. The second thing I would like to touch on has already been mentioned. The MLK event was great, and there is a YouTube video of Deb Griffith reading the kids' letters to Dear Martin. And it is amazing, and I will admit I cried a little bit seeing them make the direct connection between the desegregation work that they learned about Dr. Martin Luther King working on and how it directly changes their lives by giving them the opportunity to have friendships and connections at school that they wouldn't have been able to have without that. I think it's amazing to see the work that our teachers are doing, teaching these lessons, and then their brains are putting it together and seeing how it really works in their lives. On that concludes the public agenda for our evening. I am looking for a motion for the board to move to a closed session per the open meeting law, Minnesota statute 13D.03 for clerical and maintenance negotiations.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? It's very late. All right, no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. This concludes the public portion of the meeting. We will be moving across to the conference hall for our closed session.